Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to Uncivil Law once again for a casual stream. So, I was watching some of the Karen Reed hearing today, and I noticed that for a while we had a new judge in the case. Exciting. And then also, Karen Reed and her lawyer showed up during the hearing, but not like right at the start of the hearing, because apparently no one invited them to the party, which was really weird. So this was filed as being in the case of Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. This had to deal, as I understand, with an evidentiary issue relating to evidence, I think relating to the Turtle Boy case, not that it really matters. It's some other thing, and there's a question about whether that evidence can be used in the Karen Reed case. And apparently for some sort of issue relating to efficiency or some sort of issue relating to cross issues, this judge who is relating to this other case was in court in the Karen Reed case to decide this issue because apparently there's some cross effect. And that's not clear whether he was trying to solve the entire kit and caboodle or he was just trying to solve his part of it, and it was part of like the efficiency of just having it like as part of the same hearing. And it's like either way, I don't really object to that part. That's fine, right? So it's very unusual, but it just makes sense from judicial economy reasons that if you have a judge in another proceeding and their issue and this is all happening like at the same time, and there's this issue that kind of touches on both cases, then it certainly makes sense from first principles to try to consolidate that and bring it all together rather than like I'm just going to bring it in each case separately, which would be the normal thing. Like normally I'm going to go run off to your court to get you to decide your part, and then I'm going to come back to this court to decide your part, right? So that's the normal way of handling things. But I don't really have a problem with trying to consolidate that in the name of judicial efficiency. You know, if everyone's available and it makes sense, and we're just going to have this judge come in to decide either the whole thing or decide their part of the thing, in the interests of judicial efficiency or whatever. I'm like, I have no problem with any of this. This is fine. The part I had a real distinct problem with was Karen Reed apparently not being invited to the party. Okay, because this dealt with, at least in part, evidence relating to a case other than Karen Reed. And so, but it was filed within the context of the Karen Reed case. It was filed within the context of Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. And I thought I understood the law pretty well, that the defendant has a right to be present at basically any hearing relating to her case. They have the right to be present at every part of the proceedings if they want to. Often defendants will waive that for the name of, efficiency, again, or the name of convenience, but they have the right to be present at every stage. And so it's like, okay, so we're not going to invite the defendant or their lawyers to this party. In the case of Commonwealth versus Reed, we're not going to invite Reed. It's like, okay, that's fun and exciting. That's good news. And so then her lawyers and Reed walk in while the proceeding is already underway. The prosecutor's, at the lectern making his argument about whatever. And Karen Reed and her lawyers walk in with scowls on their face. And the prosecution says, one of my favorite lines today, I don't think they have standing to either be here or participate. And I'm like, well, that's pretty interesting. I'm not 100% sure how that's possible. Maybe it's possible. You guys still there? Did I lose you guys? Are you still there? Okay. All right, great. All right. So, anyways, it struck me as very weird to say the defendant does have a right to be at the trial. She doesn't have standing to be in the case of Commonwealth versus Reed. That struck me as really, really weird. And it's like, well, and then the defense points out pretty much the obvious. It's like, well, this was filed as Commonwealth versus Reed, and she does have the right to be present, and I'm pretty sure we have the right to participate. I'm like, yeah, that sounds right to me. And then I guess the judge thought about it for a second, and then at the end is like, okay, I'm going to allow Miss Reed's lawyers to participate in this hearing. How nice of him. How nice of him. So apparently that was a question today. Apparently it was a question of, does the defendant even have the right to be present at their own criminal hearings? Apparently that was a question. I thought the answer was yes, but I am learning all kinds of new things about law in Massachusetts continuously with respect to this case. I thought I understood the law. I thought I understood the rules pretty well, but they keep doing things, and I'm like, do I need to go back to law school or something? Because the whole thing is just bizarro world. The whole thing is just weird as shit. So that was weird. What a shit show. And then of course there are more hearings and relating to all kinds of stuff and whatever. But that was the part I wanted to comment about today. Are you guys still with me, or did I lose you? I think I might have lost chat. Oh, you're still here? Great. Yeah. Do you want to become admitted in Massachusetts? No, I really don't want to become admitted in Massachusetts. No, that's okay. All right. And then the other thing that sort of crossed my desk today, yeah, Bev has her own laws. Well, it wasn't even Bev today. It was the other guy. It was whatever his name is, other judge. So I guess it's not just a Bev problem. Apparently, it's apparently it's a bigger issue than that. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, but yes, the defendant has the right to be present. That's exceptional. Okay. And then the other thing that sort of crossed my mind today was just thinking about the issues relating to the vandalism that's been going on for Tesla dealerships, and how, of course, the our friends on the left hand side of the aisle don't have any problem with that vandalism and arson and even shootings, because Musk bad or something. And because Musk bad, that means that vandalism and arson, I guess, is okay. But of course, if a Republican did that in response to whatever the Democrat equivalent of that would be, the Democrats would not be saying that's okay. So basically, they're hypocrites. Is my bombshell proposition. That's yeah. There's no consistency. If whatever the equivalent of that would be for a Republican, if the Republican did have whatever the equivalent of that would be, the Democrats would be going absolutely nuts, condemning it every possible way and screaming, you know, in every possible language about, crime and terrorism and everything else. But because they don't like Musk, it becomes okay or something, which is just dumb. And incidentally, I think that you can probably, although it's not necessarily inherently obvious, I think it's probably likely that some of it is terrorism, because terrorism, sort of the short definition of it, is acts that are taken to affect a political end. Right? That's sort of the short definition of terrorism. We're gonna do the thing. We're gonna do the violence. We're gonna do the illegal thing in order to affect policy. Right? So that's sort of the short definition of terrorism. So if you can assume, which is not unreasonable, that some of this is due to wanting to pressure, for example, Musk to not do things or do things differently as the government, if you can assume it's violence that is meant to affect the political change, then you're falling pretty well comfortably into the definition of terrorism. So the Attorney General has announced her intention to investigate a lot of this for terrorism, and probably much of it is terrorism. So, but I guess the terrorism is okay because we don't like Musk or something. So, yeah, that's really all I had to say about those things today. So, just a kind of a short stream to just share random thoughts. What's going through your mind? Did you guys see anything at the hearing today, or anything else that you guys want to mention while I'm here? We can talk about other issues, or if you have thoughts on the subject, I'm happy to hear from you. Sounds like assumptions. They could have no political goal, not be terrorists. Yeah, I mean, it is an assumption, and I said it is. It's not an unreasonable assumption, but it is an assumption. You're correct. I mean, it seems, the timing of it seems suggestive. So, it is an assumption. That's true. But seems like a reasonable assumption. Seems worthy of investigating it, which the Attorney General's doing. And if they can prove it, then, charge it accordingly. And if not, then don't. That's fair enough. Pinochet helicopters tour said for $5. Thankfully, here in Massachusetts, the Democrats are disarmed. Last August, the governor and legislature made it impossible to exercise the Second Amendment. Fair. That's a good point. Kurt, Canada decided all other Rule 17 motions for third party. Why this one? Don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe because it relates to a live proceeding that might affect some other judge in some way. I mean, not necessarily, but again, because there's potential cross issues. Perhaps that's why. Perhaps it makes sense to do it for this one thing. I don't know. But that's what they decided to do. What's my speculation as to what killed John O'Keefe? I don't really have any particular speculation, to be honest. It's not my job, not my circus, not my monkeys. You know. So I don't really know what killed John O'Keefe. I just know the Commonwealth can't prove it, so I don't really have enough information to put together a cogent theory. There's not enough information that's been presented, to my mind, to form anything beyond a speculative conclusion. She denied the delay of the trial. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. So yeah, the First Circuit is going to make a decision here pretty fast. The in my estimation, the the defense has to file its reply brief on Monday, and the First Circuit is probably going to make a decision probably like on the 30th or 31st. And again, my expectation is it's basically going to be a one paragraph saying we're good. That's my expectation. Um, the time frame doesn't really allow for anything else, and so I think you're looking at a non-precedential decision from the First Circuit that just basically says we're good. That's basically what you got. So probably that's the answer. Wristwatch check, Invicta Pro Diver. I'm still wearing my Citizen Pro Master Tough. The Invicta Pro Master Diver isn't bad, although I think the San Martin SN017 or SN019 might be a better choice. It's a better quality, in my opinion, compared to the Invicta. But, fair enough. Justice will never be able to be done in this case? No, probably not. Any prosecution of anyone else would have the fundamental problems that Karen Reed is a completely viable, at least on blush, she's a viable suspect. So anyone else who would be tried can throw Karen Reed, into the situation. So they have a colorable argument. They can make the probable cause, right? The probable cause has already been established by the government. So they can make their showing to posit Karen Reed as an alternative suspect. So I think that if Karen Reed is acquitted, which I think she should be, I think the odds that anyone is convicted is basically zero. And that's what happens when the state fucks up the case so hard. They fucked it up so hard that they can't get anywhere. Could you have political violence and it not be terrorism? Like violence for a political reason but not be terrorism? Mm. I don't know. I suppose there might be a distinction between doing it for political reasons and it being done for a political end. Maybe there's a distinction there to be had. So I'm doing it for political reasons, but not necessarily to affect a change in policy. Maybe there's something there. I suppose, yeah, that would be like one example. Maybe, I don't even know if that would work as an example, but maybe if I was trying to like attack a particular politician, right? Because I don't like that politician, maybe there's something there. It might be possible. There's a pro driver with the Sieta movement. Fair enough. I was looking at videos today. I was watching YouTube videos on how to make watches, and it actually doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look that bad. You can get kits that basically have everything, and then of course you can mix and match, and then the challenge becomes, um, well, the spacer for the movement might be a bit of a challenge to make sure you get the right spacer for the case, for the movement. Um, but yeah, it's all very doable. It's all very doable. So I think the Bee Fish Watch Company will be producing some stuff pretty soon. Then the only question is, how do I like label the watch? You know, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna get some really really small stickers. Does anyone make stickers that small? I need a sticker that's probably, I don't even know what the dimensions are. I'll have to measure it, on a blank template. But you're probably talking about something that is what, like 2/10 of an inch or something for the sticker size. So does anyone make stickers that are like 2/10 of an inch in diameter? Asking for a friend, because that might be what I need. Yeah, just need to find it. Yeah, maybe they can be holographic. That'd be cool. If I could get holographic stickers, that'd be badass. And then like, I was thinking, either if we can't make a bee fish that looks good, we either use Cali as our logo, which would be hilarious, or we can just do like a picture of a bee and a picture of a fish, right? And that could be our logo. So maybe we'll have like a diamond, you know, drawn into quarters, and like on the left hand side of the diamond is a bee, and on the right hand side is a fish, right? And maybe like on the top of the diamond it says B, and on the bottom of the diamond it says F, like that kind of thing. Maybe that would work. You can order custom watches from Taiwan, yeah, but that sort of defeats the point, at least a bit, about what I'm trying to do. I want to make it, and yes, I'm using off the shelf components, but you know, first of all, everyone's got to start somewhere. And second of all, it'll just be more fun. So yeah, I don't want to make it. I want to buy the components and do it myself. Need a steady hand and great eyes. The steadiness of my hands sucks balls. So that's going to be an incredible challenge. I don't really have a steady hand, so that could be very challenging. But hopefully, if I take my time, I'll be able to do it. It'll be everything may not be perfectly straight. It may not be perfect, but you'll know it was made by me. So you got that going for you. It will definitely not have a machine's exactness, I'm pretty sure. And then I just need to decide what kind of watch to make. I saw one that was a chronograph today that was doing like a Royal Oak style watch. That was pretty cool. So I could do something like that, put it in a Royal Oak style case chronograph. I saw that was pretty cool. You can do a field watch. You can do a two-hander. You can do a three-hander. You can do a day. I think you can do day dates. And I'm not sure what other complications are available for just hobbyist use. I was looking to see if anyone made a moon phase uh, for hobbyist use, but I couldn't find that anyone made one. So I think the moon phase dream is out. Laser inscribed. I could get laser inscribed. That's true. I'd have to find someone who does laser inscription, but that's possible. I'm not sure it would be cheaper, but it's possible. It'd be cleaner. Either that or I have to buy a laser and do it myself. Lol. But I think that's a little expensive for a hobbyist. Maybe they make some cheap Temu lasers. Maybe I'll get one of those. Community art spaces may have access to laser engraving. Okay, that's a little bit more promising. All right, so I need to find a community art space and borrow their laser. Excellent. Sign up for Etsy? Maybe. Maybe I'll run an Etsy store. Yeah, I could run an Etsy store. See if anyone wants to buy my stuff. Probably charge like $20 more than it cost me to make it, you know, plus shipping. So maybe we'll do watches for $150. You can also do a GMT. So you can do a GMT, which I don't really personally like GMT style. It's not my thing. But we can do a GMT, we can do a two-hand, we can do three-hand, we can do a chronograph, we can do a day, we can do a day date. I'm not sure what other complications are available for hobbyist use. What am I lasering? I'm lasering watch dials with my new logo for my company, the Bee Fish Watch Company, trademark pending. GMT is useful when traveling. I mean, it certainly can be if you travel a lot. Brandon tried to add the defense attorneys to the witness list. Cute. Cute. Divers tend to be the easiest to sell. Yeah. Yeah, I can just make a diver. I won't be able to pressure test it, but it should be water resistant to at least 100 meters. You know, when you get everything complete with a screw down back, you know, you put the gasket in there and you put the crown, and it's a screw down crown. You know, I won't be able to test it, but it should be resistant to 100 meters. Then if I can figure out a way to pressure test it, that'd be cool. I could pressure test them. That'd be awesome. Then I could actually mark it. That'd be cool. 100-meter water resistant, pressure tested. I was thinking I could do something with like either like a presage face, like the Seiko Presage line, like their cocktail timer series, their cocktail time series. So I could get a dial that has that sort of look, or I could do something that has the look of like a Grand Seiko dial. I think would be cool, or something with some texture. Or what would also be cool is the Sayosa small seconds. I don't know if anyone makes a small seconds hobbyist one, but that'd be cool. I'd like to make that as a hobbyist watch, to make the Sayosa small seconds as a hobbyist watch. I think it would be cool as shit. So maybe I can find see if someone makes a movement with a center 6 o'clock position small seconds. That would be really kick ass. Maybe I'll make that for the charity stream, and I'll do a textured dial in the style of the Sayosa, and that'll be cool. Plus, I can make it more water resistant than the watch they sell, because the one that Citizen sells is only water resistant to 50 meters. If I make it with a screw down crown, it'll be more water resistant than the one Citizen makes, so arguably even better. Those are some ideas I had. Yeah, well, just some ideas. All right, guys, I think I'm going to sign off for now. It's just really meant to be a short stream today. I don't really have much to say. But, yeah. In the Discord, by the way, I think we need a new watch channel. We probably need a new watch channel if we don't already have one. So we'll create a watch channel, and then, like, the guys, when you have, like, resources that you find, or like you find a dial that you really like, or you find hands you really like, or something, or you find a case you really like that'd be good. Like, you can dump into this Discord channel that will create the components that you think look cool, and then I can like make a choice about what kind of stuff to put together, and that'd be fun. And then I can post the results of what I get. Could be interesting. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Have a good one for now. Bye bye.